Welcome back to the Fox Robbins Business Show. Great to have you back. And we have an essential episode coming up here with Julie Brooks of ecape.com, who's an expert on best use of the internet. This is what she really, her theme is doing more with less. That should sound good to all small business people. Internet marketing for small business. We're going to cover that thoroughly. In fact, we're going to do 2 episodes because we have a lot to cover, and we'll come back to that. But I'm the host of the show, Bill Fox, and the co-host is none other than my partner, Coach Robbins.
Bill, how are you?
How did you end up with a partner like me? Is that
you got to get lucky sometimes.
Yeah, that's great. Well, this show is all about developing your best business ideas. And we're going to, one thing about the internet, Coach, is that you're the expert in counseling small businesses. Many small businesses.
Thousands.
Both existing and new startups.
Right.
Most of them, would you say 90% really are not into the internet age yet?
Yes, that's true.
Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say, and I wouldn't say they're not into it at all, but as Julie and I were talking about earlier, and we'll talk about it some more throughout these next 2 shows, they're not up to speed with their technical skills that are required. You know, these things are moving forward at light speed, and the education and the training and whatever internet skills they have, they're starting to lag behind.
So the training is a moving target.
It's a moving target, and
right.
You really got to get up to speed with a lot of this stuff. Absolutely.
Okay, well, we're going to cover that. I just want to bring that out, that there's a lot of people who need to get with it.
Absolutely. You better get with it, or
there is no such thing as a small business that does not need to investigate and get into best use of the internet.
Absolutely.
There is no
correct.
such thing.
Absolutely correct.
Okay, it's that important.
Yep.
We're going to move right into this show. We need to get into the standard part of our show, which is Cliff's Notes, and cover that, and then we'll introduce our guest, Julie Brooks. And so, Coach, let's go to your Cliff's Notes for this episode, please.
Thank you very much, Bill. As we've mentioned, we're going to be talking about the internet and internet marketing. We're going to be talking about various e-tools that are available to every business, but most especially to small business, and some social networking and social networking skills that you're going to need to develop over the next few years to compete in the small business world. People are asking me constantly, does internet marketing work? Should I be on Facebook, Twitter? Are those things that I need to do? And I give them the definitive answer every time. I don't know. I don't know. It's very new, and there's a lot of tools out there that you have to look at. You know, I can take you to the University of Massachusetts and run you through a program for 4 years and give you a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, run you through for another couple of years, give you an MBA, and I'm going to teach you an awful lot of things, but the art that you will develop in using those business tools is a different thing. It's the same thing with social networking and e-tools. We can tell you what you need to do, but actually doing it and developing as your own art form and seeing what works for you is what's really important in this new business environment, in this new marketing environment. I talk about Dennis Connors 25 years ago having lost the race to the Australians.
America's Cup.
America's Cup. Well, there's this thing called covering in sailing, which I've talked about in the blog and several other times, many other times to people. And that's in the 7th race, they were tied 3-3. Dennis Connors was in the lead, and the Australians were on his tail. Well, the Australians took a different tack. They veered away from Dennis Connors and picked up a faster wind past him and took the America's Cup away. Dennis Connors broke a rule by not covering. The expert sailors tell me he should have turned with the Australians. He would have caught the same wind. Well, that's what we're talking about with social networking and e-tools. I don't really know which ones are going to work for you, but you really have to work some of them. You have to get in, you have to dig in, start with 1 or 2 of them, see if they're working, because if you don't and your competitors do it, they're going to leave you behind, and that's something you don't want to face. So these things are very important in today's marketing environment.
Well, it is important, and I hope we're gonna cover it thoroughly with our guest, Julie Brooks.
We are.
Of ecape.com.
Yep.
And again, she's going to address the idea of doing more with less.
Right.
And I think one of the things about small business is maybe getting involved with the internet. There may be a fear of the cost. There may be a fear of the complication. There may be a fear of technical understanding. There may be certain blockages,
Yeah.
to not getting involved.
My wife's a psychotherapist. She calls it fear, doubt, and insecurity.
Okay, well that covers it. We're going to welcome our guest, Julie Brooks. Originally, Julie is from Missouri and Tennessee. She did get her degree at Boston University and a master's at Syracuse University. And she really started off in the direction of managing art galleries. But she and her husband decided to move to the Cape after a while, and they went to work for Best Read Guides. And on a previous Fox Robbins, we've had Walter Brooks,
right.
who was the founder of Best Read
Correct.
Guides, a very well-known person. And anyway, Julie was attracted to the development of the website, developed the first website for ecape.com in 1996. Heck, that's a long
time ago.
That's 14 years ago.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's when that's back when the web was not much.
Oh, the web was brand new. I mean, I got online in '94 or '5 using Mosaic, and I think I had 4 megabytes of RAM in my in my RAM speed, and I had to up it to 8 just to
Your
get online.
watch has more than that now.
My watch has more. Yeah, I have 40 megabyte hard drive and a 4 megahertz RAM. I mean, you're kidding.
Anyway, Julie is now CEO of eCape Inc. that develops and multiple websites.
Right.
And they're very experienced, and she has a lot to say.
Right.
And we'll bring her on momentarily. As for you guys, one pause, but do not rise from that couch and go sprinting for the fridge. Hold still. We'll be right back with Julie Brooks. Thank you. Welcome back to the Fox Robbins Show. Thank you for not sprinting for the fridge and for sticking with us. And we've brought on Julie Brooks, CEO of ecape.com. And we're going to talk about doing more with less, as we mentioned earlier, and get into internet marketing for small business. And Julie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
This is not the first episode for Julie. She was one of our early guests, so she's back. And hopefully not for the last time.
Nope.
Coach?
Julie, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
How you be?
Great.
We're going to be talking tonight about doing more with less. Doing more of what with less of what?
Doing more marketing and sales with less money, but not necessarily less time.
So we're going to save these people some money, and we're going to have them spend a little bit more time, which does not impact the cash flow, folks, right? Because I know that your marketing budgets are loaded with cash, and you want to save all that for the Super Bowl ads. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you've got here listed, the 6 types of internet marketing. What are we talking about here? SEO optimization, pay-per-clicks. Tell the folks about these different internet marketing devices.
Okay, the first 3 would really fall under the umbrella of search. Some people say that there's really only 2 things that drive traffic to websites: search and email. I think there's a few more things that drive traffic besides those, but the first 3 fall under search. So if you go to a Google search results page, just search for something, there's the results. There's going to be 3 different types of search results on that page. Most people really aren't aware of this. The most commonly known kind are the organic or natural search results. Search engine optimization for those is a very important part of an internet marketing strategy. Local search, which is those maps that come up. If you do a search that has a geographical term in it, like Chicago dry cleaners, you're going to see a map of Chicago with a bunch of dry cleaners on that map. That's up above the organic search results.
Right.
So therefore, that's more important. That was not always the case.
Right.
It's new in the last 2 to 3 years that those results come up.
Right.
That's another type of optimization. It uses a totally different algorithm from the organic search results.
That'd be Yellow Pages, Google Maps, those types of things.
Yes.
We'll talk about more about them, yeah.
Then there's pay-per-click, and those are the ads that when you click on them, the advertiser pays for that. And right above those results, it'll say sponsored link.
Right.
That's the third type of search marketing. The other three types of internet marketing are social media marketing. This is Facebook and Twitter, basically. Email marketing, which is emailing to your customer list or potential customers to try to get them to go to your website and or buy things from you or buy your services. And then last, there's paid advertising, the easiest form of internet marketing, but you have to pay for it. And that is buying ads and listings on relevant sites to your company.
And they're not necessarily the best use of funds either, are they really? I mean, banner ads you're talking about or something like that, or just, you know, they're passive. They're not direct. I call it deep sea fishing.
Right.
You know, you're out there in the middle of the ocean, you're just casting a line and hoping to God you catch a bass.
Well, I think as long as the banner ad campaign that you're running is accompanied with text ads, because people are more likely to click on text ads, quite frankly.
Right.
And if it's on a relevant site, for example, if you're a wedding vendor, you might want to be on a wedding site. You're going to get a lot higher click-through rate.
It's a classified ad almost.
That's right.
Doing it,
That's right. The greatest thing I think about internet marketing is that it's all measurable.
Right, all of it is.
And trackable, as opposed to many forms of print advertising, where you know about how many copies of a magazine or newspaper were printed, but you don't know to the extent how the advertisers interacted with it after that point.
Right. So the first three, you're talking about methods of search. I call that findability.
Right, exactly.
How
right.
can I find your business without knowing your name? This isn't Cheers,
Correct.
folks. You know, not everybody knows your name here.
That's right. I like that line. I'm going to use that.
Go ahead and steal it, yeah. So you've got to get out there, generically allow people to come to your website when they're looking for whatever it is, items or in any phrase or phrases or words that are keywords that they're looking for, so that you come up in certainly the first page and maybe the 1, 2, or third. How long does it take to do an SEO, set up a site for SEO? In other words, if you've got your website, you're not getting the results you want, how long does it take before you start to see results when you folks start to work with somebody on that?
Well, typically by the time a company does, if you're a small company on Cape Cod, Southeast Massachusetts, and you have zero search engine optimization done for your website and your web presence, which is typical of most. Okay, fine. To do just basic search engine optimization on your website and getting yourself set up for local search, meaning Google Maps, or now it's called Google Places. This is a brand new thing. Yes, it's a brand new thing. It's been all rebranded. Since you took the workshop, this has changed. It's very fast.
Well, these
all
things
good.
aren't moving at light speed. You've got to keep up.
Yeah,
That's one of the
absolutely.
problems that we're talking about. That it's hard to keep up, but you got to. Yeah.
So to get set up, once the search engine optimization is done for both organic and local search, you're going to see some results almost instantaneously, but gradually, about 6 to 7 weeks, you're going to start to see yourself gradually rise, if it's done correctly, for the search terms that you want to optimize for, as long as they're not super popular search terms, like Cape Cod Hotel or something. But if it's something much more, reaching more of a niche audience.
Tightly niched, okay.
Right.
All right.
Dennisport Waterfront Motel, something like that. That's going to be, you're going to see your results rise up over time of 6 or 7 weeks. We have, my company and other search engine optimization companies have software that measures that for you really easily.
Okay.
So you can see it. But it takes about 6 or 7 weeks.
Excellent. Okay. So social media marketing, which we're going to talk a lot about later in the show, folks, and email marketing, which we're going to expand on. Actually in the second show, so you're going to have to come back, watch the second show. And then the paid advertising that we're talking about. Let's talk a little bit about the next slide is Google. I love the name.
Google? I've never heard of them.
It's a new company named after Google, which is some big mathematical number, and this company has become a big mathematical number all by themselves. Let's talk a little bit about Google. What's going on over there?
I love Google.
I know, everybody else does too.
Google is every business owner's both best friend and potential worst enemy.
If you don't use your best friend, right?
That's right.
If you don't understand how your best friend works.
That's right.
Right.
Google wants to expand into many, many areas of business, and they are, and they're going to.
And they will.
And they will.
Nobody can stop them.
And They also offer a lot of really wonderful free tools that they're improving all the time that all small businesses should be taking advantage
Right,
of.
definitely.
They're getting easier to use all the time. They're getting to be more effective all the time. And that's one thing that's my sort of mantra is I'm telling people you need to get a Gmail account.
Oh boy, yeah.
You need to get into Google
Right,
and trust them
Right.
because they will bring you business if you use the tools correctly.
right.
That's
So-
the thing, and Julie, Google is not passive. They're not just sitting there like a lump. They are working very, very hard and very diligently about making their search machine the best available.
They
worldwide.
have to, a lot of it is driven by smartphones because this is the computer of the future. Right. People want information about how to drive somewhere, what
Right.
restaurants are in the area, what
Right.
are the reviews of those restaurants, and
Right.
how do I drive there.
Right.
They're not getting their organic search results really don't play into that. It's all Google Places or Google Maps.
Right.
That's why it's so important to optimize your business if you have that type of retail business for Google for mobile devices.
Particularly B2C, business to consumer.
Right. Google is actively, to get higher. I saw a documentary on Google that was fascinating. And as smart as the three of us are, if we put all of our IQs together, we might, in one person, we probably still wouldn't get hired by Google.
I can pitch in about 55 points.
I got 3.
I don't know if I have that many, but it's absolutely amazing. And so they are constantly experimenting in areas of business that we can't even imagine.
But what we want all small business owners to know it behooves them to keep up with what's going on with Google.
I would agree with that, Bill.
And match up their marketing plan, with that. I mean, that's if you're out there as a small business owner and you don't know what's going on with Google and what best suits your business on the Google engine, then you're behind.
I would say there's two things. What I like to say is if people can't find you on Google, people can't find your business.
You're invisible.
You're invisible.
That's what I tell my clients.
right.
If I can't find you on Google, you are invisible, and your clients are going to be visible, and you're going to lose business.
The 65% of all searches in North America are performed on Google, and the remaining